99.9. I know you are enjoying the vibes and you're enjoying the tunes, but it is now time to tune in to the Black Love Club.
It's the Black Love Club. We on the radio. Turn the speaker up. You could tune in the live, we were vibing and dial into the station, join the conversation. Hey yo, say the Black Love Club is on the radio. You could tune into the live, she could just vibing and dial into the station. Hey yo, yeah, the Black Love Club, we on the radio. And what's up? Welcome back to the Black Love Club, you guys. Well, I'm your host, Nikki Talks, and I have Richard Roots and Edgar Prime in the building. And I just want to remind you guys that Black Love is real, Black Love is strong, and Black Love still exists. So shout out to you for tuning in and supporting us in this. And I'm so excited, you guys, today. I just want to go into our week. First of all, I feel like really tired today. And I kind of felt a little energized when the sun was coming out. And then it got like dark and gloomy again. And I was like, dang, I'm really tired. Like I can use a little nap right now. But I did not take a nap because I had some deadlines that I had to meet and I was pushing. So, yeah.
She been putting in work.
Yes.
Nah, don't be trying to get that crowd sympathy. They wanted a part 2, and you already trying to be like, hey, y'all understand? Nah, bring that same energy.
Nah.
He trying to bring the smoke early. Look,
I know
we ain't even get to the news. He ready for
He's starting off bad. But shout out
Put
to
the
y'all
gloves
for
back
tuning
on.
Look, this week, it's like it's already Wednesday, and I feel like tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be Friday, and it's like I feel like it's been going by really, really fast. But what did we do over the weekend? We had a good weekend. At least I know Monday was good. The sun was out, so I remember that.
We saw the movie, The Sinners.
Oh,
well,
we saw Sinners.
My wife saw the movie. The movie saw me.
We saw Sinners.
Yeah.
Did y'all go see Sinners? I know we talked about that. No, we told them last week. No, we went seeing it Saturday. We said we were going to go see it, and we finally did go see it, y'all. So Sinners was good. Did you see it, Prime?
Yeah, I saw it before, but now I want to know what's your thoughts.
Oh, Sinners was so good. Like
The ending was good. It was.
Did you guys stay through the credits?
No.
We stayed through the first one. And then there was another one after what we found out. So I was like, I got to go see it again anyway.
So it's another one after the credits we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those who are tuned in on the radio and watching it live, go check out the movie, but stay to the end.
Stay all the way to the end.
Don't leave when everybody else leaves. You're going to miss it.
Just sit there until it literally
I hate
goes
that
all the way
people
off.
watched us leave and didn't tell us nothing. I would have been like, hey,
I know the
y'all,
people
it's
next
more.
to us. I kept thinking to myself, I said, they're sitting down here for something. We only seen the first.
He already
first
sat in
extra
our
ending.
seat. I mean, he could have
Yeah, it was so funny, y'all. We was in the movies and it's dark in the movies, and the guy that was next to us with this girl, he left out and he went to go, I guess, use the restroom or whatever. But when he came back, I guess he didn't pay attention where he was, so he had he started grabbing my stuff from my seat and handing it to me, and then he sat down, and then he looked over and he was like, "Oh wait, this is Marone's seat." I didn't know what was going on because there was an extra seat there all that time, so I thought maybe the person just decided to show up, So I didn't even pay attention that he was.
Man,
the guy,
I woke up out my sleep
He
and I was looking at him. I thought I was tripping. I'm like, did he just move our stuff and give it to me?
He handed me my snacks, here you go.
And he looked and he realized, he was like, man, I'm tripping. He must have been tired. We was all up in that time.
Y'all, we went
that
to
was
the
probably the last
1025 showing.
And it was really the 11:45 showing. Because the trailers were so dang on long, I was like, I ain't gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, I try to avoid those 10 o'clock showings. I don't know if it's just, I'm getting old, but I don't know.
No, look, I would have done the same thing. But I mean, I'm a night person, so I know I'm gonna be up. But for him, definitely we got to do it. The next time we do it, we're gonna do it earlier, Sean. But Sinners has been doing great in the box office. They had a $90 million budget, and they're I think they surpassed that. I think they're at $300 million. So that's
Yeah.
pretty good. They're doing it. They're doing really good, and I love that.
Well, I'm happy
love
we
that
didn't
for
get it
us.
on bootleg.
He's so silly. But I love that for us. I love that for a black man doing Ryan Coogler, doing some amazing things. So, that's awesome. And it was such a great movie with so many details and messages, and
Yeah.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It wasn't the average plot. Like, it wasn't one of those movies like.
It was a lot going on. That's why I said like the vampires, the horror portion of it is
Yeah.
just like a drop in the bucket
Yeah,
to everything going on in
It's
that
perfect.
movie.
Right.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was dope. From
Yeah.
the parts I saw, it was dope.
He saw the ending. He saw the ending. The moment they started fighting, he was there.
Yeah. I was
But,
like, yeah, this is dope.
So he kind of missed all the messages.
So I saw some other stuff, but it was a part of my dream, so I can't like really differentiate which one was what was real and what was not. So I don't talk about the movie too much. So don't worry about no spoilers coming from me.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, Prime, how was your week?
My week was good. No real complaints, outside of this on again, off again gloomy weather. It kind of just, messes with me. But honestly, here lately, I've been just working on. I know Richard Roots, you're in the group, but I've been working on with the messages, going through shedding, bad habits, bad experiences, bad mindsets. And the idea behind shedding it is that if you're comfortable with a normal average life, that's okay. All I want you to do is be happy in whatever life you decide to live. But if your goal is to be exceptional, if you're seeking greatness, we have to understand that the weight of greatness on its own is enough to crush us. We're not going to be able to sustain ourselves if we're carrying on all of this extra weight we don't need in the first place. So part of the whole reflection is to unload some of that stuff that we're carrying that's not necessary so that we can show up better and actually push forward in that pursuit of greatness.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm actually reading, going through a book right now, audiobook, and I like to do things that deal with the mind, that just kind of like reshape our minds. This one is As a Man Thinketh.
It's a good book.
Yeah, so I like to, because the more you sharpen your mind, it's like the more you sharpen your reality.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I love things like that.
That's a
so,
bar. The
bar.
more you sharpen your mind, the more you sharpen your reality. When people understand that,
Or I would say, the more you sharpen your mind, the more you're able to shape your reality.
there you
Yeah,
go.
that's it,
There you
yeah,
go.
shape.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was shape. It was
Yeah.
shape. It was
That's
definitely
it.
shape.
Yeah, it shaped the. Yeah.
He's a poet, y'all. So he had to, and he's a writer, so a good writer too. So
And a reader.
yeah, but that's a really good book. But I love just being there on that level. Like I gotta be on that level because and that's when you get older, you really see that you have to be, because life will throw you all type of curveballs. But if you have the right mindsets, you can deal with that and you can go through that a whole lot better. But it's like we don't be having the right people around us a lot of times to help us continue in that thinking, because a lot of times, like, man, people, their mindsets be so sad, like when you really think about it. I don't know, do any of y'all know anybody who has like just a really gloomy mindset and how it affects you?
I know quite a few people. At this stage of my life, I'm pretty distant from them. I found once you kind of find a certain space where, you've learned to kind of set boundaries, where you have taken an interest in being intentional about what it is you're doing, what it is you're feeding yourself, either mentally or into your body, it tends to kind of like repulse people with those negative attitudes. Like, it's really hard to be a negative Nancy around somebody who's not willing to, be depressed or be sad about anything. I remember seeing this clip, and this guy was like, he was trying to tell him about this problem. An employee under him. He was like, yeah, the shipments aren't going well, and we're backed up, and we don't really know how to deal with the problem. He says, good. And he says, why is it that every time I come in here, no matter what problem I tell you, you always say good? He says, because seeking the good is its own solution. When you come in here and you deliver me a problem and we spend time discussing it, we're not going anywhere. The problem is already here. So when I say good, now we can focus on what the solution is, because we ain't got time to feel bad about this. We ain't got time to dwell on it. And as you adopt that mindset that I can have bad moments, I can have a bad hour, but having a bad day is entirely on me. It's really hard to be a negative Nancy around somebody like that.
That's true.
good.
That's true.
Yeah, those moments where when we have a bad moment and we're not intentional about how that affects our day, we will have a bad day.
Yeah.
But that's good, putting that power back into your hand. Just focusing on the fact that, this is just a bad day. It's a bad minute. I mean, a bad minute.
A bad minute.
Not a bad day.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is so crazy. Like, this literally happened to me before. I was at work, and everything fell. All my stuff fell, right? And a woman, she stopped, and she was like, "Oh, you're having a bad day, aren't you?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'm just about to pick this up. I'm not having a bad day." And I was like, for the life of me, I'm like, I can't understand why people say you're having a bad day when you just had something so small. Like, even though my stuff fell, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
It's just like, pick it up. It was only take me a few seconds to pick it up, and the woman said, you're having a bad day. I was like, no, I'm not.
I talk to people all the time, and I'm like, you saying a bad day, but if we really sit back and think about it, at most this was inconvenient.
Right.
You're just used to that pattern of thought. You're used to people talking about, oh, I had a bad day. And then they ramble off one sort of story. They drag it out, but it really happened over 5 minutes. The rest of the day, they were just moody and messed up the rest of their own day.
Right.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's just a pattern of thought.
That's true. That's true. You can't allow something that happened in a moment to affect your whole day. And I tell that to my daughter all the time. Like, look, you can cry about it, but you're going to have to wipe them tears and get up and move around, because if you dwell on it, of course your day is going to seem real terrible. But yeah, we're going to have to do a show on that, y'all. Today, you guys, I want to get into just the news portion. And today I'm going to be talking about the Met Gala, okay? So the Met Gala, y'all, if y'all have been seeing, I'm pretty sure it has been popping up on your feed and stuff like that. And not today's, but the theme was the Black Dandy. And that was something that was real popular around the Holocaust. Gosh. The Harlem Renaissance. It was real popular around the Harlem Renaissance, okay? And they used to really dress themselves with dignity and grace. Black people, we gonna put some seasoning on it, right? We gonna do a little extra. We gonna make sure we together, right? So it was just a way, especially coming from slavery and being beat down and throttled. This was like one way that they gained that power and they gained that respect. So I had seen two looks. These were two looks that I really, really like, because it's definitely different. They had some women, one Kim K dress was really nice, but because Kim K not black, I can't talk about her. But but it was nice. I don't know if it was giving Black Dandy, but it was definitely really cute. I don't know, maybe it was, but I don't know. Maybe it was giving more Kim K. But I'm gonna give into one of these. So this is Cardi B, you guys. Cardi B, I really liked her outfit. Just because all of her body wasn't out. She did it kind of, her breast was out, but she had balance to her. It was a lot of balance, and I thought she looked really, really nice. It was, I just love when we're covered. I like that that green on her. It was just really, really nice. I thought it was really nice. Even just how, the cape just gave it like a feminine touch to it. And then there's I can't remember her name. I believe it was Grace. But her outfit was so bomb. Like the thought process that went into her outfit, from the color and how it reflects on her skin, like that color on her skin is just so good. And then just the thought process with the points. If you could see her shoes, which you probably can't on here, but if you go back and look at this picture on social media, her shoes had like a structured point and it like went up, and it was just so much a thought put into this outfit. So I just wanted to shout them out today, just because I love just the excellence of it, and it was very beautiful. The leather, everything was really good, and I was like, I need to go find that outfit because I will wear the top portion. I would definitely wear that like cape portion. I can see myself in that. It's like a dress, and I can see myself in that. But also, you guys, if you are in the Tulsa area, I want to shout out. We have a great event coming up for the Mayfest, and the Mayfest on May 10th at 7 p.m. We're gonna have the Eating Out Band, and they're gonna be out there. And if you ain't never seen the Eating Out Band perform, they definitely put on a show. They're gonna be out there at 7 p.m. So you ain't even gotta worry about the sun. It's gonna be going down. It's gonna be a good time, you guys. Right there on Guthrie Greens for the Mayfest. It's gonna be good. We're gonna be out there supporting definitely. So y'all pull up your lawn chairs, bring your blankets, whatever, and get ready to dance, dance, and dance. So that's going to be really awesome. And that's May 10th, 7 p.m. So going into today's topic, we're going to be talking about Build a Bay, but on the other end, more for the women, right?
Hey, yes. So last week we had the women. No, it's actually more for the men. Last week we had the women.
Yeah, sorry.
So last week it was, should you build a bay? We would talk to the women. Today we're talking about, would you build a bay? And we're talking to the men. So today's title is partner or project. So men, we're asking you, do you want a partner or a bay? So should you have
a project?
Partner.
Maybe.
Hey, they're gonna be a bay regardless. You want a partner or a project? Do you want a partner or a project? Should this woman already be established and headstrong and everything that you want her to be, or should you help build her up?
I like how you put that, partner or project, because it makes you, either one you're going to put in work, and the other one is like, like you said, all together. So it's just that partner is somebody who is coming in. Ooh, I ain't going to look.
Well, hold
Brian,
on.
go ahead.
Since you already started talking, I got a question for you.
He took the gloves off already.
From your perspective, what do you think like a man should desire in a woman? So what do you think like are values and qualities that a man should value in a woman?
I think the qualities a man should value is a woman. I think definitely she has to be respectable, nurturing, because you want those qualities in a woman, right? She has to be, kind, and I don't know. I feel like those things are probably some things that a man definitely really wants in a woman, because if you're respectable, you're going to respect him and different things like that. Or you're going to carry yourself with respect too, because it can go a whole lot different ways. And if you are, you're kind, and if you're nurturing, you can help with things and, bring life to things. So,
I like the way you answered that. And so part of the reason I asked you that question, and it wasn't quite a setup, but it was, is that notice when I ask you what those qualities are, you can say like a few things and then you're kind of grasping for straws. It's like, I don't really know what to say outside of nurturing, respectable, kind. And I think the reason for that is, and to speak to the focal point of our conversation, whether you want a ready-made woman or, I thought this over and I decided to go ahead and look up the definition of project. And so I don't know if project quite covers exactly what we're looking for, but more or less what I'm saying is you want a woman that's unrefined. if we could use it. And this works beautifully because refinement typically refers to valuable resources. And these things on their own have value. Like you can make something out of coal. You can get something out of raw gold. You can get something out of crude oil. However, their usefulness, their value is exponentially increased through refinement. And so for each man, they need a woman who's unrefined so that they can refine that woman into a woman that is best suited for them. So I think as men, we have to be able to be attractive to most women because it's a numbers game. We understand how women work, so we have to kind of fit the rules of that game. So we need to be attractive to most women in general. That way we can find some women who are attracted back to us. Women, on the other hand, they don't have that issue because most men find them attractive in general. So their focus is really on finding one man and being attractive and useful to him. But no woman on her own is going to be able to do that for a man without his influence, without his lead, because she's going to have to pick up his habits, his traits. She's going to need to understand his plan, his vision, and that's the only way she's going to be able to find ways to deliver value to that specific man. You know, I remember I mentioned a little while back about the sandwich thing. And I was like, you know, if you've ever been in a woman's house and you asked her to make you a sandwich and she comes back with a sandwich, she's feeding you another man's sandwich. Because the only way she would know what your sandwich is like is if she asked you, well, how do you like your sandwich? Same thing with a woman is that she's got to adapt to you to be a best fit for you. It's not a one size fits all.
Yeah. Why the camera looking at me? Man, look. So I feel what you said, but I'm going to give you a little pushback with the sandwich state.
Okay, bring it.
So is it really another man's sandwich, or is it just how she likes her sandwich and how she thinks you like it?
I think you make a kind of a valid point, but at the end of the day, it's still not your sandwich.
Wait,
At the end of the day,
That
it's
is
still
facts, though.
not your sandwich.
I completely understand what he means. I completely understand.
All right, now explain it to Nikki, because she over here like, wait, you on the wrong team now.
If you have never made a sandwich for me before, and you bring me a sandwich without asking me what I want on it, that's not my sandwich. Like, so I would never do that to anybody. I wouldn't make you a sandwich without asking you what you want on it. So if you make me a sandwich and bring me the sandwich and you didn't ask me what I brought on it, it was either her sandwich or it was, like he said, another man's sandwich.
Well, that's not the case. Let me tell you why. Because, see, as women, sometimes we do things out of love. Like, if we're going to make a meal and it's a meal that we want to make for you, we're going to make it. You know, and maybe we feel like, you know what, I know them. I've seen them, you know, eat chicken a lot. So I'm going to make them a nice chicken sandwich. And I'm going to put this on this. And I remember they said they don't like bacon and they don't eat bacon. So I'm not going to put bacon on there, right? So that's how women we think. So you can't just broadly say that, oh, it is your sandwich. It might not be exactly what you want. So now you be like, hey, you know what? I like my sandwich with no mayo. Okay, you like dry sandwiches then. Well,
okay,
next time I'm gonna make it like that. But that's we're gonna do what we feel, and it's a love link. It's like it's how we show that we love you. It's not nobody else's sandwich. It ain't for nobody else. It wasn't my sandwich. I'm not gonna make it my way. Now there are women that will eat, but if it's a woman that's really into you, especially if it's a new relationship, she's making that because she wants to impress you.
That's the exception.
You know, Nick.
No, it's not an exception.
You know, Nikki, it's
Look,
funny. It's
even
funny. You
even
disagreeing
my mama
with us.
agreed.
That's
She
your
said, yeah,
mama.
we have our own special touch.
Hold on, hear me out though. Hear me out. Yes, it sounds like on the surface you're disagreeing with us, but really you agree with us. You just didn't like the way it sounded. Because here's the thing, what I'm basically saying is that in order for it to be my sandwich, you have to make it with consideration for me when you prepare the sandwich.
And
so if you just go in there and you throw together a salami sandwich with a little mustard and whatever it is you used to growing up eating, that is not my sandwich. That's your sandwich. That could be a struggle sandwich. That could be a college sandwich, but it's not mine.
I don't think you got what he just said. He's basically saying the same thing. Like, so he's saying, like, if you observed him to the point where you know what kind of sandwich he wants, then that's his sandwich.
And that's what I was saying. That's what women
That's
we
what
do.
I'm saying. We on the same team.
We do that. We do that.
But
Not. That's why I say that's the exception. Every woman don't do that.
so we're talking about in the scenario where you come to make me a sandwich and you're not considering me. That's not my sandwich.
Thank you, April. April said, I think it's another man's sandwich. I get it. I think you understand. You just trying to protect women. But that's good, though. That's why you here. That's why you here, though. We got to protect the women, too. But no, it's not, he not saying every woman makes another man's sandwich. But in the case of scenario, when a woman does not do her due diligence and she makes a man a sandwich, and he never said anything about what he wanted, and she just give him a sandwich that she thinks that he wants, then it's not his sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't know what
but
y'all
I feel-
think,
I
Chad.
feel
Y'all
like
think it's his
women,
sandwich or
we
not?
are just a lot more intentional than that, and we do everything with intention behind it. So I don't
Wait,
know.
you do everything with intention behind it. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Look, he's starting. Y'all.
I mean, we got
He's
women out here with women's studies degrees. Let's not say we do everything with intention.
Oh my gosh! Come on with the next question. Come on.
She said maybe 99.9% of the time we take it with intentions.
He cutting up. He cutting up already. Ain't even prime time yet. Ain't even prime time.
Oh, I
yet.
can't wait for prime time. I wonder what prime time gonna look like.
I don't know, but he coming with pressure already, and it's crazy. So come on, go ahead.
Oh, you was putting the music on. I was
I'm
like,
just
that
saying,
is
that's how
prime
he
time.
coming. He coming with pressure already. It's insane.
Oh
But-
man, don't tempt me with an hour worth of prime time.
Look,
I'm gonna get in
got-
trouble.
So the first question: Do you think that a man should build a woman?
I'm sorry, I wasn't
Flat out. So that's for everybody. That's for everybody in the room. Everybody who's listening. Everybody who's on the radio. We haven't called anybody in on the radio in a long time, but feel free to call in at 918-856-3873. Let us know. Again, it's 918-856-3873. Let us know. What do you think? Do you think a man should build a woman? And woman, that's for you as well.
So what's after I kind of explained where my point is on that, what's your thoughts when you hear should a man build a woman?
So, I guess you have to. I think it's okay if a man does build a woman, and this is my thing. If the woman, it's okay. So it's like
Do you
it's
think
like
he
a
should?
no. It's a no and a yeah.
Do you think he should? Let's
He
get you a
shouldn't
little bit
have
closer.
to, but I'm going to speak for. He shouldn't have to, but at the same time, sometimes it comes with intentionality. So should it be like a project? No, because if anything that's a project, if you got to do that much work,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like little tweaks, like you gotta learn that person, right? So it's like different things. It's like you're just learning somebody else. So it's like, okay, just like Shayel said, he can guide her. So you're guiding her to like in what you like, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's not gonna be like, well, this is just the way I am, right? Because it's like, wrong question, next person, right?
Mm-hmm.
But wrong answer. But like at the same time, you
was right.
let them know that, hey, this is what I like, and this is how I like it. At that point, that woman can say, okay, or she can say, I ain't even down with it, right? So it's like you have to pick your battle, because you can't, if you have a whole project of somebody that is just, you have to do everything for, like, you're rebuilding that person, and I don't think it's fair to that person. Unless they are okay with it. So you get what I'm saying?
I got a question for you, just to kind of help you kind of iron down your premise on this. So when you say a man shouldn't have to build a woman, What do you mean by that?
He shouldn't have to build her.
Yeah. Like, how do you think women are come pre-assembled, or how do you think they're supposed to come pre-assembled?
Well, I feel like women, we come with things that is just naturally us. But I feel like in the building, it's like only like preparing you to be with that person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, obviously, like you said, with the sandwich situation, like you might like tomatoes. So you're telling me you like tomatoes, right?
Right.
In whatever situation that would be. But the other person didn't like tomatoes, maybe that I was talking to before.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was used to not doing the tomatoes or whatever, right?
Right.
So then it's like, you say you like it, so I have to get to know you, your temperament, understand you better. So that's what I mean by that.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. you go comfort me on this one. We had a talk a little while back during one of our brainstorming discussions, meetings of the minds, and you were telling me about the Hebrew word for woman.
Right.
Could you remind me what that word was?
Isha.
Isha.
Mm-hmm.
And you said specifically that in the Hebrew language, in the text, that there's not a separation between woman and wife.
That's correct.
Or I guess they're interchangeable terms.
That's correct.
And so initially I said,
The word wife typically didn't exist.
right, the word wife didn't typically exist. And so what I said is, what I took from that is that a woman wasn't recognized outside of her relationship to a man during that time.
That's correct.
Because you were a daughter, you were a wife, or you were a sister. They had harlots, but a woman on her own was not recognized. And so when we have this conversation, I think part of the issue we have is that there's an underlying value added to the experience of a woman. And the more you really think about it, I have to question whether or not there's any value in that outside experience. Because even from your example, Nikki, if you're having to unlearn the fact that, your previous guy didn't like onions on his sandwich and the new guy likes tomatoes on his, doesn't that mean that whole time with the guy who didn't like onions was a waste of time?
No, no, because that's who you were with at the time.
But wouldn't it have been easier to just be with the guy who likes tomatoes?
No, because it just depends on what it is. It's like, okay, I'm gonna just get to know. It's like a TV show. Like, he likes to watch this and he likes to watch this, so I'm gonna get used to watching this because he likes to watch it. I don't care about this anymore.
100%. But so I give you a different example. So let's say that the last guy really, really loves soccer. Soccer has an entirely different community atmosphere to it. It's actually one of the biggest sports in the world. And so if you've got used to watching the World Cup, going to soccer events, this new guy likes football. It's an entirely different sport. The rules are different. The crowds are different. The celebrations, all of that's different. You will likely have some sort of an aversion to that football because you've grown accustomed to the soccer. But the reason I ask if that experience is valuable in the first place is because you wouldn't have gravitated to soccer on your own. You wouldn't have found interest in that sport. But it was because of the experience you had with that guy that you gravitated toward it. That same experience is going to a point, create an obstacle with the next guy. And the same thing with a career. All of these things, although they're packaged as if you're finding yourself, what you're really doing is creating barriers for yourself. Because if you start to refine yourself, one, you can't refine yourself to meet the needs of a man you haven't met. That's an imaginary guy in your head you're refining yourself for. Secondly, those refinements you make, you are going to be more beholden to because you made them. So you're going to carry it. It's going to attach a little bit to your ego. It's going to attach a little bit to your pride because you made these changes to improve yourself. So now when you come with this to this man, and the only way he can get the best out of you is to refine you to suit him, now you're in a conflict because he's basically saying, we didn't need all of this stuff. And now that could almost come off as he's dismissing you.
Now, I don't necessarily believe that because just like so say a woman is single, she has to build herself up. She has to make sure that she's better for a spouse, for anyone who may come into her life.
In what way?
Like mentally. Like okay, so like say you want to make sure that you have good thoughts, like we were talking about earlier, right? That you're not a person who speaks negatively and different things like that. That's things that women are working on. Women are working on traumas and different things that they've been through so that they can be whole.
Well, but traumas come from experience.
No, but trauma can come from childhood.
But that's an experience.
Yeah, but still at the same time, you still have to get and
Let's
epigenetics,
talk about
exactly. So epigenetics, it could come from just trauma that you ain't necessarily experienced firsthand, but this is coming off the back end from your great grandmother who experienced this, and your grandmother and everybody, your mom all experienced the same thing. They had the same thing. So now she's trying to break that because she's recognized, you know what, this is a pattern in my life. So women are doing the work, and certain things are going to come prepackaged as a woman. And if they feel like, hey, this is something that I need to hold on to, maybe you're just not the person for them. And I don't feel that that woman should be like, well, let me, depending on what it is, let me change this. If she know that, hey, this made me a better person. I know who this made me because I knew me before you knew me. Like, right? Before I knew all the versions of me, basically, right? So.
But do you really?
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally, like, do you really know all the versions of you?
Yeah, you experienced every version of you.
Well, yeah, you were there. I'm not arguing that. I'm asking, do you really know them? Because here's the thing. From what the little bit I know, and I'm by no means an expert, is that you got a few different things that kind of go into biology and your particular emotional state and the amount of stress you on. And those all combine to create like a chemical reaction that creates the base level for your thinking throughout that period. Let's just say that day. Even though we know it changes throughout the day to a certain degree, and then in more extreme cases, it can change by the hour and by the minute. So with that said, your perspective on you through the years is going to be jaded to a degree because you're not the same every day. So on one day, a toxic behavior might be cool because he deserved it. On another day, I ain't with that ratchet stuff.
No, I think you're going a little too deep into it. I feel like there's certain things that women, they go through, they change, and it's for the betterment of themselves. It's just like, say, a woman, she feels as though she's better in a religion or going to church or something like that, right? And this man comes along and be like, but yeah, that's stuff I don't like to do. Then you ain't the one for her.
Well, I mean, I agree with
right?
that.
So I'm just saying it's like things like that. And there could be mental things or things that, like, no, because she feel like, hey, I became better because of this, or, well, if you don't like this about me, or even knowing that sometimes a woman do become, I'm going to say tough, because a lot of our women deal with being strong, right, and tough. So they became independent because of circumstances, and they're trying to get over it, but at the same time, they're still independent because they are not together. So that's something that you can work with someone on, and if she's willing to kind of soften up to see that, hey, you are a safe space. So I feel like those things, yeah, but yeah.
How can you get better at independence alone?
So look, I have a
By
question.
being alone.
I have a question. So I want to know, do you think in the world where women have received so much trauma, not just epigenetics, not just through relationships with other men, but even through relationships with their family, do you think, and when I say relationship with their families, that means the mother may have raised her in a single home. She may have seen a lot of men come and go. So in her mind, she's used to seeing men being replaceable. So she's growing up with the mentality that men are irreplaceable.
Right.
So do you think in that kind of a world that women should be preparing themselves before they start dating a man?
You know what? When you say prepare themselves, what do you mean by that? So I can best answer your question.
Building themselves.
Oh, building themselves. Okay. All right. So I would still say no in most cases, because I don't think the end justifies the means. So if your goal is to be alone, then sure, you can refine yourself however you want to. But if your goal is to be the helpmate, concentrating on the help part of a man,
He tried not to look at you like
I can feel the stare, but it's okay. I came for the heat. If your goal is to be a helpmate, you cannot accomplish that without a man.
I'm about to shut your whole argument.
Bring it.
Look, if this woman has lived a ratchet lifestyle because that's all she's seen and grew up around, she can't refine herself and make herself better and more suitable for a man that may come along.
No.
That's what you're saying? She needs to be ratchet?
No, she ratchet.
So will you date a ratchet girl?
No.
Exactly. So she needs to refine herself.
No.
Oh
What I'm
my
saying is
gosh.
she can't refine herself. You
Yes,
can't do it.
Yes,
oh,
you
she
can.
needs Jesus. That's what he's saying.
She needs Jesus, a purpose, and some animals.
What?
Just because you've found awakening in
Wait,
the
he
later
said-
portion of your
He
life
said animals.
don't mean that you now all of a sudden qualify for a good man.
Yes, it does.
No,
Like
it
a
don't.
woman-
Life
so that
don't work
means-
that way.
So that means women who have been dealt a bad card, they are just not suitable. That's what you're
no.
saying.
A bad hand.
Women who've been dealt a bad hand and then play that bad hand terribly don't get to the finish line. Yes.
No, that is
So
not
what if
that's
so
not true.
wouldn't you equate a woman being dealt a bad hand and that woman learning to play that bad hand well?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you equate that with her building herself?
I believe that she can do that. The
Right.
problem is it's not going to help her be a helpmate. So at the end of the day, she's still going to lose. Because here's the problem with that logic, is that if she's had these experiences, like, remember that analogy, the reel you showed me, or I think it was you. I'm not sure if it was you. But basically, this guy said, see, men and women are like this cup of water here. You know, as a man, it don't matter how many women grab this cup, I can wipe the fingerprints off of it. But if a whole bunch of men, or let's just say 3 men, come in and dip their hands in the water, you don't want to drink it. Now let's take that further. It don't even have to be men. You probably don't want to drink that cup of water if your kids dip their hands in it, if you had an alternative option. And so as a woman, here's the thing, you're not like a man. All of those experiences, which is why I said I don't know that it's valuable, all stick with you. They become part of you. And so even if at the end you decide to convert over, become a born-again virgin, whatever that means, you still are going to be psychologically not incapable, but unqualified for a long-term relationship. You've been around too much.
That I don't think that's true.
Because he can't refine you.
No, this is the case because that woman started to work on herself. She recognized, hey, you know what? This is a bad path. I see that. She had to come to a realization because she has been dealt the wrong deck. So now she said, okay, I understand this. Now I'm going to start to change my ways and I'm going to refine myself by changing my thinking, by reading more books, by becoming a better person because I will eventually find a spouse. And whether however many hands been dipped in the water, some man is going to think that she is worth it. And just because she had those past traumas and different things like that, if she heal herself and she work on herself, it's not going to show up. Hold on, y'all. We got a call coming in.
Uh-oh. It's that time.
Right.
Please hold. you're on the air.
Caller, you there?
Hey caller, you're on the air. Can you hear me? Hello? Caller, you're on the air.
See, I agree with Prime. When I was a young lady, like leaving my girlhood to teenagehood, that type of young lady, I was a girls' mentoring program, and the main person there, he literally told every one of us that we were like a bouquet of beautiful flowers. You know, so which meant that you want to save your flowers. That's literally what he said. And you want to give your bouquet of flowers to your husband. If you give your flowers away to every man, there's absolutely nothing that you can give to your husband. And of course, in that bouquet, just thinking of something that you'll get from the grocery store, buy that bouquet of flowers, you can't rebuild that. I mean, you can try. The struggle gonna be real, but it won't be in its original form. So I do agree with Prime in that way.
All right, so Prime, you got one person to agree with you. Thank you for calling.
That's 1 point
You're
for
welcome.
Prime.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to KBOB.
Thank you.
Now, hold on, because, yeah, she may have came with that argument, right? Oh, about the bouquet of flowers, but I got something better what that man didn't tell you. You are,
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, y'all. You can't hear me? Hello? Can you hear me now? All right. I think
Yeah.
we're there.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It was up, and I was like, what? Okay. But, so what he didn't say is you're not a bouquet, because ain't nobody just clipped you and put you in a bouquet, because a bouquet gonna die regardless. What you are is a rose bush. And though somebody may have clipped off your flower, if you prune yourself back, you're gonna come back better than ever. So if you figured out that I'm gonna let people stop clipping off my flowers, guess what? You're gonna start pruning yourself and you're gonna come back. All right, but look,
Hold on.
we can't do that because it's like some people just been dealt bad hands.
So here's the thing. I'm not trying to say that someone who's belt a bad hand can't improve. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that last I checked, I have yet to see a self-sustaining bush. I think women would be it would be a much better argument to say you're more like bouquets, because here's the thing. Nobody's looking for a 60-year-old baddie. So by that metric alone, you will decay. That stuff is gonna go. So you have a runway.
So I'm kind of with you, but
Don't get in trouble.
no. I'm wondering. I'm just trying to get some clarity. Are you saying if a woman had that experience? Now, I'm not nodding. I'm listening to you. Echo you.
I'm listening to you.
I'm going to repeat the same thing you just said.
Okay.
Don't get in trouble, because I'm about to. There's about to be a setup question.
All right, do it.
So, are you saying that a woman who have went through such a traumatic experience, as what we spoke of earlier?
What did we speak of earlier?
Just natural trauma.
Natural trauma. Okay.
Natural trauma from relationships.
Okay.
Bringing in other people's trauma in her community. Are you saying that woman cannot be refined?
Okay.
Hey, wait. I'm going to add to it.
Okay. All right. Add to it.
And she cannot be suitable for a man.
All right. So, that's fair. This is what I will say to that. My argument is that she can't refine herself. That is my argument.
Gotcha.
That if she's the one with the chisel, she is going to lead herself to being alone. If you think that that's a weird logic, think about this. If you follow a woman in a relationship, she's going to lead you to the end of that relationship.
But who's going to refine her? Answer that.
The man.
No, but you can't. The man can't refine her if the man don't want her. That's what you said earlier.
But the man don't want her after she has had all of these experiences and then refined herself.
Y'all was listening. I asked him, do you want a ratchet girl? He said no. It wasn't. It was just a ratchet girl. He said no.
Women don't start out ratchet.
No, but she went through traumas and she became.
She refined herself that way.
No, she didn't refine herself that way. Life made it that way.
Hey, ratchet behavior is a choice.
No, that's not true, y'all. Listen, he wants to if the man refines her, but the man didn't want her. He said he didn't want a ratchet
Nikki
woman.
used to be ratchet.
I didn't used to be ratchet, but.
All right, so my point's like we can go look at this. We know this
But
to be true.
He didn't
Wait,
refine me.
I'm joking, mother-in-law. I'm joking.
Even if I was ratchet, he wasn't the one that refined me. He found the refined version of me, and don't you love it?
Wait. So let's get this clear.
Yeah.
I don't think an individual can refine themselves. I don't think so. I'm about to tell you why.
Explain.
I'm about to tell you why. Because the perfect mirror is another individual. You think you are refined. You think that you're fine until you encounter another individual and you have a relationship with that person. So I agree to that aspect. You can think that you're refining yourself, but as soon as you get in a relationship with another individual, that's when you really start to see that dirt is still on top of that gold.
Okay, I'm not saying
Facts.
refine until I'm not saying we ain't forget about prime time, April, but Prime is getting himself into a little name.
Hey,
but
I took off the gloves when I walked in.
But at the same time, I'm not
You
saying
did it.
refine until perfection. I'm saying she has to start doing the work to make herself better. To make a man even desire her, she has to do some type of work. Is that not true? Because no woman, whether
That's
she
what I
was
agree with.
ratchet
I agree
or
with
if
that,
she
yeah.
was not ratchet and she was dealt a good hand, she still got work to do.
Yeah, I
There is
agree with
something
that.
still she has to do before she finds someone. Yes, in a relationship you will become better because there will be friction. But I ain't saying refine until, she is like perfect and, she is,
Right?
Mother
No, that's
Teresa.
facts.
So this is the other side of your argument, and this is the part that we don't like to talk about, and so I hate to be the one who has to say it, but I'm the one getting in trouble.
No, you like it.
So I do like it. So you said earlier, well, there's always gonna be a bunch of men. There's always gonna be some men who will drink that cup of water that somebody else has dipped their hands into.
No, because I'm gonna tell you. Okay,
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
hold
Okay,
on.
go ahead.
And so, see, here's the problem with that logic is that woman is not going to respect that man. So you're not going to have a fulfilling relationship
No,
because you're going to sit down and look at him and still think, man, I could do better than you. Man, you a beta.
Now I agree with
that's
that.
not
So
true.
That's the same way they do in stepfathers now.
in my opinion, the more men a woman has been with, the harder it is for her to respect the man she settled down with.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that this woman has been pouring into herself. That means she's been clearing that muddy water out. So,
How?
'cause
She's
been pouring
the
into
water.
herself.
How is she pouring into
Well,
herself?
she's allowed other people to pour into her. She's found mentors. She's found therapy. She's gotten herself together. She may have found religion or
So
something
you adding a
to
little
help her.
fabuloso to some dirty water.
No, it's been clean
It's
water.
still
She's been,
mop water. The water don't get clean.
She can. You can't just write all women off.
I'm not writing them off, but here, let's look at reality. Right now, we are on the precipice of the largest population of single women in history.
And what about these women that are virgins that can't find nobody?
There's not a lot of women who are virgins that can't find nobody. That is a myth.
Oh,
Wait.
no. I see it all on social media. Yeah. So, yep. Keep going.
We're going to have another talk about that because that's a whole nother situation.
Fine.
But what I'm saying is that
Y'all look,
you don't
in the
get to
chat,
change your
do
water.
y'all think it's hard for a virgin to find a man?
You gonna be mop water for the rest of your life. You gonna have to find a new purpose. You gonna have to feed some plants. You're not gonna be able to let somebody drink that.
Hey, Prime ain't budging.
Like I said, if you get yourself together, you can get yourself together. You can start getting mentors and changing yourself. And
I
it
think
will
you need to
change who you
explain
are.
like what getting yourself together means, because I agree
That's
with you.
Therapy.
I don't know why
Reading books. It's
Prime is
like,
just
it's becoming
still
better.
swinging.
Women, a woman can have a past, and I'm not saying a woman that's been hopping, right? That's just knew what she was doing.
Well, you said ratchet.
No, okay, no, I'm just saying. Okay, that was like an example, but I'm just saying some women it might not be that easy. But I'm saying because you might not desire her because like maybe she's been with a little too many people, and maybe like if she had like an OnlyFans and doing something.
She
right?
talking about ratchet with a little bit of class.
But
She is.
I'm talking, but at the same time, but he said like if the woman had all these partners,
Yeah.
all right. But at the same time, she could have 2 partners, and it could have been the water is not as clear. So we looking like the water ain't clear,
Well,
but it's
no,
like
what I'm saying is that the fact that 2 people touched it does diminish it in front of a cup that's never been touched.
then what diminishes you?
Wait, just
What
last
diminishes
week.
you?
Wait.
Go ahead.
Last week, we was literally getting into a debate about women giving it up too fast.
No, and that is true. And I'm not saying women should. I'm
No.
just saying some- okay, all right,
This is towards Prime.
Oh, okay.
Because Prime was like, nah.
Oh yeah. Prime
So,
was like,
and that
Look at
was
them
my
all.
Give it
problem
up.
They
because
coming
I
for
felt,
me.
I
I
got the
felt like,
clip.
I felt like that was the problem because like if women give it up too fast, then she loses value towards the next man.
Mm-hmm.
And you was like, nah, you ain't gotta wait that long.
You might not like my answer
Prime
to
the
this.
Destroyer.
You might
That's
not
what
like
it
my
is.
answer to this.
No.
So here's the truth that we just don't like to talk about because we've created such of a halo effect over women is that we know historically 60% of men don't procreate. 60% of the men born in a given generation do not have offspring. That's been knowledge since we've started doing this till now. No one bats an eye at it. Yet we have this some weird perspective that all women are wives. All women are worthy of relationships. That's not the reality of the situation. There have been harlots in the Bible since before AD. There's always going to be harlots because part of reality is that men need to gain experience in order to be able to attract women. Part of that experience is always gonna come from women. There are gonna be women. There's always gonna be bust downs. There's always gonna be one night stands.
No.
The problem is that the popular culture has adopted this mentality.
That is not
So you
true.
saying
because
that
if a woman is a virgin, she doesn't. You could be as poo, and she would never know.
I disagree. If she's a virgin, she has it. Hold on. We can't correlate being a virgin with being
That's what you were just saying.
with being a moron.
No, you
Like
were saying you got to go
there
out and
should
get
still be
experience.
some sort of identifying metrics of a man. Like it's not easy to be attractive to women. I do feel that women have to vet men better, but if you are a virgin, you have something to protect, so you should be more selective in who you give it to. And even though you both tried to team up on me, I said if you are a virgin, go ahead and hold on to it. I respect that.
Yeah, but
all
you
I
was
said
also
was
saying-
is if you gave it away for free or at the very least cheap, don't be different with me. That's all I said. Don't.
Hey, I feel you on that.
That's
though.
all I'm trying to
I
say.
feel you on
But
that.
at the same time, you wouldn't choose none of those women, so you just continually.
Well, I mean,
destroying them.
there's what's the term that I like to use nowadays? There's recreational use only.
That's
Oh.
look, ladies.
We
let
can
me tell
benefit each
y'all.
other
Yo,
for
we
the
gonna-
moment.
We're gonna cut that part out.
Look,
We can benefit each other for the moment, but if we're talking about sustained relationships, nuclear families, that is not the kind of person you're gonna be able to build that with.
So what you're saying is before a man lays down with a woman, he should identify her first. He should ask her, "Hey, are you the harlot?"
No. You should never ask because they're gonna lie every time. You watch their behavior, and then you allow them to tell you who they are. Because if you let a woman or really anybody talk long enough, they're going to tell you who they are. Just believe them the first time.
All right, it's prime time, y'all.
Y'all, look.
Hey, I wish we could continue this, but it's
Prime.
We gotta
he's
get
been
prime
getting
time,
himself
man.
in a pickle, okay? But it's prime time
I have
now.
a feeling this
Even
conversation
though
gonna circle again.
there has been a lot of pressure already. But here we go. It's prime time with Edgar Prime. And
It's always pressure when the gloves come off.
go ahead.
All right, so it is prime time with Aga Prime. And so, where's my post? Is it up?
I'm
don't
putting
see
it
it.
up right now. I was waiting for you. There you go.
Okay. So this post read, Black women are the only flowers expected to bloom while not being watered.
How ironic. I think the caller knew what this post was gonna be. But go
Man,
ahead.
that's so wild.
That's crazy, right?
You know, it's almost as if Black women think that they can refine themselves.
Bruh.
It's almost as if
He took this to prime time.
they think that they can do it by themselves, that they don't need a man, that they can be independent, that they can be bosses, that they can raise their children on their own. All of these things we've been hearing for the last 20, 30 years.
Hey.
And now we're at a point where it's, why is it I'm the one who doesn't get watered?
Hey.
You got what you asked for. But here's the thing. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So my argument to you is this. You've had it your way. You've done it your way. You've refined yourself. You've chased your dreams. But are you fulfilled? Do you have that family you want? Do you have the children you want? Or are you just tired? Or are you just worn down? Refining yourself, if you continue to do it on your own, you are only going to further that process. That's why in the last show we talked about building a leader and giving up that power. But you got to find a man that's worth it to you. So I always put this clarification out there. I'm not saying submit to the first man you see, but find a man of value. If you're not sure in your decision making, you need to get around some men who can help you out. But the thing is that this is what our Black women have been asking for and telling us for years. I heard it growing up, Richard Roots. I know you heard it growing up. Now we're seeing the consequences of that. So if we can do one thing as we move forward, how about we decide we not going to keep doing this? How about we try and work together a little bit more? And maybe, just maybe, you do need some water. And it would be beneficial to be nice, to be appreciative, maybe even a little submissive to the person who's going to pour water into you.
Now, check this out. This is what I wish we could have done. I wish we could have went to that same woman's page and read some of her posts previous. Because,
Which woman?
The woman who posted the post that you just posted. And it's not to shame her, but it's to show that what you were saying is true. I understand what you're saying. Like, I feel like our women have been given, they've been fed lies for years.
Yeah.
You know, they don't need a man. They don't need a man. So that reflects in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But once it reflects in your life, a man is only attracted to taking care of watering a flower that seems like it needs watering.
Exactly.
So if a woman is saying that she's independent of a man, she's basically flaunting the image that she don't need water. So how are you going to expect me as a man, as a farmer, a husbandman, to water or tend to your garden if you're telling me it doesn't need water?
Absolutely.
So I'm behind you 100%, man. That's the dark side of it, man. We believe these lies, we fall victim to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she's telling you. She's saying that nobody's deciding to water the Black woman. The Black woman ain't watered from being a child. So That's the issue.
Well, I mean, that could be the case, but that don't help you as an adult, though.
But at the same time, if you haven't been watered as a child, how you expect her to be a little rough around the edges?
Wait, no, she can't be talking about as a child.
But if you really look at it,
no, because she said the black woman. She
I
didn't
know.
say the.
But as a woman, that's when you get all the slack as a child.
No. So if that was the case, then shouldn't she include the black man as well? Because the black male experience is worse than the black woman experience.
I think,
as far as children.
I think it's both. But I'm just saying, speaking to the post.
She specifically said black woman. That's what I'm saying. So she's talking about womanhood.
Yeah, but I was going just a little deeper. But
you reading into what she said, though.
Come on, y'all. Look, we've been bringing the heat. So
no, I think that's a legitimate way that women do feel. I think women do legitimately feel like the black man has parted away. It is a real issue.
It is.
But the solution is like you can't have both. You can't have the independent lifestyle and be dependent on a man. Now, if that's the case, then we're just servants. Mm-hmm. But I think she cued the music, so. It's the wrap up.
It's the blackout.
It's the blackout. Why I keep saying wrap up? Because we're going to black it up. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Black Love Club. It was an awesome show, y'all. It got heated. The gloves were off since the doors opened. If you weren't here for it, you missed it, then you can always catch the recap. Just to close it out, guys, I just want to encourage you that men can build women. In my opinion, but I think the woman has to be willing. All right,
100%.
And you guys were out.
No, and black woman, we.
Oh yeah. Oh,
black women, we love you.
And black men, we love you too. And black child, you are golden. And until next time, you guys, that's the end of the Black Love Club. We'll see you next week.
Next week.